I'm tracking a developing weather situation that's about to become significantly more dangerous than what we experienced this past weekend. Over the next 7 days, a record-shattering Arctic blast will drive temperatures 30 to 40 degrees below normal across the eastern United States, reaching as far south as Miami, and creating conditions for a potential coastal winter storm that could impact tens of millions from the Carolinas to New England. This comes as nearly 500,000 people remain without power following last weekend's ice storm, with the majority concentrated in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee, where bone-chilling air continues to grip the region while repair crews work in extremely dangerous conditions. Right now, this Wednesday morning, I'm seeing widespread temperatures running 20 to 25 degrees below normal across almost everything east of the Rockies. The upper-level low that brought us this past weekend's catastrophic ice storm is positioned over the Great Lakes and southern Canada, and it's preparing to unleash another powerful Arctic surge starting Thursday night into Friday morning. This system will drive the most intense cold air we've seen this winter down toward the Gulf Coast, creating the potential for rare snowfall as far south as northern Florida and coastal Georgia. The current power outage situation remains critical, with repair crews facing enormous challenges as they work in sub-zero conditions across Louisiana, where over 200,000 customers remain dark, Mississippi with another 150,000 outages, and Tennessee where approximately 100,000 people are still without electricity or heating. These numbers haven't improved significantly since Monday because repair work becomes nearly impossible when sustained temperatures drop below zero, and we're about to see conditions that will make restoration efforts even more dangerous. Today we'll see some improvement across the central and southern plains and parts of the southeast, with many areas climbing above freezing for the first time since the weekend. Nashville should reach right around the 32-degree mark this afternoon, but I need to emphasize that any melting ice and standing water will refreeze tonight, creating renewed concerns for black ice and hazardous travel conditions through Thursday morning. The Ohio Valley and Northeast will remain well below normal today, with Columbus starting Thursday morning around 3 degrees below zero. Thursday is when this pattern begins to intensify dramatically. As the Arctic air starts filtering south through the northern plains, I'm expecting light snow showers to develop across areas like northern Kansas by Thursday afternoon and evening. The most significant temperature drops will hit Wisconsin and Michigan first, then spread aggressively southward. By Thursday night, we could see snow flurries as far south as parts of Arkansas as that Arctic boundary continues its push toward the Gulf. What makes Thursday particularly treacherous is the rapid temperature change. Areas that start the day around 20 degrees could drop to near zero by evening, with wind chills plummeting into double digits below zero across Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. This dramatic temperature swing will create dangerous driving conditions as any moisture on roadways instantly freezes. Friday morning brings the first wave of truly dangerous conditions. Snow flurries will be possible across Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee as morning temperatures plummet well below zero throughout the Ohio Valley. Columbus will likely see wind chills approaching 30 below zero, making any outdoor exposure dangerous within minutes. The northern plains will continue experiencing steady snowfall, and I'm tracking the development of an intense Arctic high-pressure system over Canada that will register around 1050 millibars, which is extremely strong for this region. Interstate travel will become increasingly hazardous from Kansas City through St. Louis and down to Nashville as temperatures drop rapidly Friday afternoon, with the potential for flash freezing on any remaining wet surfaces from previous melting. Friday night into Saturday is where this forecast becomes particularly concerning. That Arctic high will be perfectly positioned to drive moisture from the Gulf of Mexico into conflict with the advancing cold front, creating conditions for snow development from Oklahoma through Texas. While I'm not expecting major accumulation that far west, the real focus shifts to the East Coast, where a low-pressure system will begin forming near the Carolinas Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon and evening represent the critical window for what could become a significant coastal winter storm. The developing low-pressure system will have access to Gulf moisture and will encounter the advancing Arctic front, potentially creating rapid intensification. Current model guidance suggests this system could strengthen from 1,005 millibars to 971 millibars in less than 24 hours, which meets the criteria for bomb cyclogenesis. If this scenario unfolds, we're looking at blizzard conditions possible from the Carolinas through southern New England. The storm track remains the key uncertainty in this forecast. A shift of just 10 to 20 miles either direction will determine whether millions see significant snowfall or if this system moves safely offshore. Right now, I'm seeing model consensus building around a path that would bring heavy snow to the Carolinas, eastern Georgia, Virginia, and potentially up through Maryland and southern New England. Wind gusts with this system could reach 60 to 70 mph along the immediate coast, with even higher gusts offshore. Sunday morning will likely feature the peak intensity of this coastal system, with the heaviest snow bands potentially affecting areas from Charlotte through Richmond and into the Washington, D.C. metro area. The European model is showing significant accumulations possible, while the GFS model suggests an even more intense scenario with widespread 4 to 8 inch snowfall totals along the Interstate 95 corridor. However, confidence in specific amounts remains limited due to the complex track forecast. The storm's rapid intensification could produce snowfall rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour during the peak period Sunday morning, making travel nearly impossible across the affected corridor. Airport closures are likely from Charlotte through Baltimore, with significant delays expected as far north as Boston and as far south as Atlanta. The combination of heavy snow and strong winds could create whiteout conditions, particularly dangerous for the millions who may lose power and need emergency assistance. What I'm much more confident about is the extreme cold that will accompany and follow this system. Sunday and Monday will deliver some of the coldest air we've seen in years. Wind chills across the Ohio Valley will drop to 20 below zero or lower, with places like Columbus potentially experiencing wind chills near 30 below. Cincinnati will likely see actual air temperatures around 5 below zero, with wind chills approaching 25 below. Louisville could hit 8 below zero Sunday morning, while Indianapolis might not get above zero for 48 straight hours. Most remarkably, this Arctic air will penetrate all the way to South Florida, where Miami could see temperatures near freezing with wind chills in the teens and 20s. Orlando could drop into the upper 20s, which would threaten citrus crops and create serious concerns for homeless populations. Jacksonville might see temperatures in the low 20s, while Atlanta could experience single-digit lows with wind chills well below zero. Even coastal areas like Charleston and Savannah will likely drop into the teens, which is extremely rare for these locations. The duration of this cold pattern is particularly concerning for those still without power from last weekend's storm. The National Weather Service has this Arctic pattern persisting through at least the first week of February, with temperatures along the East Coast remaining 15 to 25 degrees below normal. Areas like Nashville, Memphis, and Little Rock will see daily highs struggling to reach the single digits early next week. Emergency shelters across the affected regions are preparing for maximum capacity as hypothermia risks escalate dramatically. Homeless populations in cities like Atlanta, Charlotte, and Richmond face life-threatening conditions, while elderly residents without adequate heating may need to relocate to warming centers. Water pipes will be at extreme risk of freezing and bursting from Texas through the mid-Atlantic, potentially creating secondary infrastructure crises that could last well beyond the weather event itself. For the developing winter storm, I need to stress that we're still 72 hours out from the critical formation period, and coastal systems like this are notoriously difficult to predict with precision. The ensemble model data shows most solutions keeping some form of low pressure near or along the coast, but there are still scenarios where this tracks far enough offshore to spare inland areas from significant snow. The Canadian model is showing a somewhat weaker system, but still maintains snow potential from South Carolina through Virginia and into Maryland. What's particularly concerning is how the various models handle the interaction between the Arctic front and Gulf moisture. Even small differences in timing could shift the heaviest snow bands by 50 to 100 miles. The GFS model has been consistently more aggressive with snowfall amounts, showing potential for 6 to 12 inches along the I-95 corridor, while the European model suggests a more conservative 3 to 8 inch range, but extends the impact zone further inland toward the Appalachian foothills. What makes this setup particularly dangerous is the combination of extreme cold with potential heavy snow and high winds. If the coastal storm develops as currently forecast, power outages could extend well beyond the current 500,000, and restoration efforts would face even more challenging conditions with wind chills potentially 40 degrees below normal. I'm continuing to monitor the latest model runs closely, and I expect forecast confidence to increase significantly over the next 24 hours as we get better initialization data. The northern plains and upper Midwest should prepare for another round of dangerous cold regardless of the coastal storm outcome. Areas from Texas through Florida need to ready for temperatures not seen in several years, with potential impacts on infrastructure and vulnerable populations. The timing puts the worst of the coastal storm impacts Saturday night through Sunday morning, with lingering lingering effects possible into Monday across New England. Behind the system, the reinforcing Arctic air will ensure any snow that falls remains on the ground well into next week, with little opportunity for melting given the sustained below freezing temperatures expected. This represents a potentially historic cold pattern for late January, with some locations possibly challenging daily record lows. The combination of extreme cold duration with possible significant snow accumulation creates a scenario that warrants serious preparation across the eastern third of the country. I'll continue providing updates as this pattern evolves, and I encourage everyone in the potential impact zones to monitor the latest forecasts closely over the next 48 hours as we gain clarity on the exact track and intensity of this developing system.